Hello and welcome everyone to Literature Unlocked. I am Komal Kumari and here we are to decode literature from all the ranges and along with that learn spoken English. Today's topic is Piers the Plowman by William Langland. William Langland's masterpiece of Middle English literature is Piers the Plowman. It is an allegorical poem and is not just literature but social criticism, religious philosophy and moral protest, all woven into a dream vision. Next, we move on to the summary of the work, wherein the framework of the poem is that it is structured as a series of dream visions experienced by the narrator, Will, who falls asleep on Malvern Hills. The opening vision is as follows that he witnessed the field full of folk representing the entire medieval society, from kings to beggars, rich and poor, honest and corrupt. The next part follows what all he witnessed in his dream. First, social disorder. The people in the field are engaged in sinful activities, including greed, laziness, dishonesty, and false piety. There is a role of church, Holy Church, where Lady Holy Church appears and explains that truth is the path to salvation, not wealth or social status. Also, there is an episode of Lady Meed where the poem introduces Lady Meed, symbolizing bribery and corruption, who attempts to marry falsehood and manipulate justice. Next part of the work consists of the moral debate, where characters like Concise and Reason argue against Lady Meed, exposing how money has corrupted law and religion. There is failure of institution, wherein kings, judges, priests, and friars are shown as morally compromised, failing to guide society properly. Then there is arrival of Piers. At this point, Piers the Plowman appears as a simple, honest laborer who knows the path to truth. Next follows his journey to truth, wherein Piers the Plowman guide people to truth, but first ask them to plow the field, symbolizing honest labor and duty. Those who refuse to work are punished, showing Langland's belief that work is morally necessary for salvation. Later visions in the work move to social reform and then to inner spiritual reform, focusing on faith, repentance, and grace. In the next part of the work, there is a Christ-like image of Piers, wherein Piers become increasingly Christ-like, merging human labor with divine sacrifice. He begins as a simple plowman representing honest work, then he becomes a teacher showing the path to truth and virtue, and at last becomes a divine figure wherein he shows that human labor is merged with divine sacrifice. The poem does not end neatly. Instead, it reflects an ongoing moral struggle, suggesting reform is continuous. Now we move on to the literary context and form of the work, that is first author and the period. It is written by William Langland during 14th century, and there was an alliterative revival in this period where alliteration was revived. That was very common during Anglo-Saxon era, if you remember. The literary form of the work is alliterative verse, not in rhyme, and it follows Old English poetic tradition. It belongs to the genre of dream vision allegory, a popular medieval form where poet dreams and learns moral truth. And the setting of the dream is wherein the poem begins with narrator Will falling asleep on Malvern Hills and seeking a vast symbolical vision. The central vision of the work is that he sees a field full of folk, which represents human society, and Langland sharply criticizes the corruption of church, dishonest clergy, greedy landlords, and idle beggars. There are three versions of the work which exist in text A, text B, and text C, wherein text B is very important. Now, here we have our allegorical characters. The Holy Church, who represents true Christian faith and spiritual guidance. Leading Meed, who symbolizes bribery, corruption, and how money controls justice. Concise, who represent moral awareness and ethical judgment. Reason, who embodies logical thinking and rational moral choice. And truth, the ultimate goal, divine truth and salvation. Remember, these are all characters in the work. Every character is symbolic, representing abstract concepts rather than individual. Before we move on to the themes, I would suggest we first discuss the appearance of Piers, who appear as a humble farmer symbolizing honest labor, Christian virtue, and moral truth. He is interpreted as an ideal Christian, a moral guide, and even a Christ-like figure. The theme of the works include shows that salvation comes through honest work and not through indulgence and empty rituals. There is a social criticism where it is the voice of common people. Dishonest clergies and greedy landlords are shown, and sharp criticism of church corruption is done. There is religious philosophy, wherein the poem reflects Christian humanism. Faith is combined with ethical action and social responsibility. Salvation is met through honest work. And also we have a political context to the work, wherein Black Death aftermath is shown, peasants' revolt tensions are revealed, and class struggle and social equality is also shown in the work. So these are the political background of the era which are reflected in the work. Next, before we move on to the enduring question, the language of the text is plain, direct, and accessible, aimed at common people rather than the court. The key themes are truth, justice, labor, salvation, corruption, and social equality. The work is very significant in literature because it represents the voice of common people, criticizes power structures, and combines theology with social realism. For UGC NET, you must remember that this work is a dream vision allegory. It is written in alliterative lines or verse and symbolizes alliterative revival, symbolism of Piers, and social and church criticism. This work is more than a literature. It is a moral and social document that remains relevant across centuries. In conclusion, Piers the Plowman is a moral and social document and not just a poem. It asks one enduring question: how can truth survive in a corrupt society? If you liked the video, do like, share, and subscribe for more UGC NET English literature explanations.